So in my last video, I told you how I had met someone who completely changed the trajectory of my life. My wife, Heather. But what most people don't know is the night that we connected at the Florida Railroad Museum, right here where I'm standing right now, it wasn't actually the first time we had met. In fact, our connection started 34 years ago. Back then, I was a resident at Loving Hands Ministries. And at the time, Heather was just 4 years old. Now, there is 14 years age difference between us. And I want to be very clear here as I share this story, because it's something that's both deeply personal and often misunderstood if you don't understand the full picture. Now, when I was at Loving Hands, the founder and his family, Heather's family, they would often host events and holidays and gatherings and special occasions where the residents and their families would all come together. And during those times, Heather and I formed a simple, innocent bond. She was a joyful little girl, full of life and laughter, and I was a young man walking through one of the most transformational seasons of my life. I still remember her running up to me with that big smile and grabbing my hands, walking up my arms and flipping over, giggling the entire time. It was pure joy. It was lighthearted, and it was nothing more than the kind of friendly connection that happens when you're around a loving family oriented in ministry environment. But here's the part that still gives me chills. After I graduated and left Loving Hands, Heather would go around and tell people that one day she was going to marry me. Now, she was just a little girl at the time. She could not have possibly understood what that really meant. But somehow, deep down, she knew there was something special there. Something planted in her heart that she couldn't explain. Now, fast forward 17 years later, we had both gone on to live very different lives. Each one of us had married other people, we had children, and neither of us had any idea that God would bring our paths back together again at that little Christmas event in Paris, Florida. So, when I say that night at the Florida Railroad Museum felt familiar, that sense of, I know this person, it wasn't just in my head, it was real. Because our hearts had met long before that night, decades before, in a completely different chapter of our lives. Now, I've hesitated for years to even share this part of our story because it's so easy for people to take it the wrong way. But the truth is, our connection, it has always been pure, has always been guided, and has always been protected by God's timing. What began as a child's innocent affection eventually became something mature, committed, and deeply spiritual, built on faith, friendship, and the kind of love that stands the test of time. And yes, when we decided to pursue our relationship and build a life together, it came with challenges. Not everyone understood it. Not everyone accepted it. But that's a part of our story. And I'll share with you in the next video the costs that we paid for choosing love and how our faith carried us through some of the hardest years of our lives. Our love is unconventional. It's unexpected, but it's also unshakable. Because when something is truly meant to be, not even time, distance, or circumstances can stand in the way. Be sure you smash that follow button so you don't miss the next part of our story, where I share the price that we paid for our love.